Hi, I'm Johnny, and in this little video I'm going to show you how to re-stretch and measure a painting. The first part is me just measuring it, and here we go. Now I'm measuring a painting by myself, so there are certain things I have to do. I have my table here. This is a wood table. What I'm going to do is secure part of the painting to the table. And what the next thing I'm going to do is I got to figure out how much movement is in this painting. So simply spoken, I'm going to take my tape measure and I'm going to put it on the corner. Now as you noticed, I have the painting face down. So basically I'm measuring the painting from the indentations from the stretcher. And this is how I know I can get it perfect. So I take my end, I'm going to put it on the painting.
He stretches out the tape measure and locks it.
And what I do, the reason I put the staples there is I'm just sort of going to pull on it because I just want to get an idea how much it's going to pull. So this is measuring out to 63 3/4. Now this is just one side of the painting. When you measure a painting, you're going to measure right, you're going to measure center, and you're going to measure left. A lot of times the center of the painting might be smaller, and what we call that is the hourglass effect, because sometimes the crossbar isn't strong enough to keep the painting perfect. So this is why we do this method. So I'm going to move now, and I'm going to put my tape measure in the middle of the painting, and we're going to see how well it comes out. So we had it at 63 3/4. Now this is measuring only to 63 5/8, so I have to use the smallest dimension. And this is pretty normal, the hourglass effect. I'm going to go to the other side just to make sure, but if I had to take a guess, this side will probably be 63 3/4.
He stretches out the tape measure and locks it.
Now I'm going to pull on it, like so. And yes, it's measuring 63 3/4. So we have to take the smallest dimension, so it's going to be 63 5/8. So basically this was with the grain, and this way is against the grain. I can just tell by the material. So I'm going to put this right there, come over here, and basically it's measuring out to 51.
He measures the width at one end.
This one, and we're going to go again in the middle, just making sure. And this is measuring out to 51. That's pretty normal. And this is measuring out to 51 1/8. Let's just make sure that we have the measurements right.
He double checks the width measurement across the center of the canvas. He walks around the table to adjust the end of the tape. He walks back around and checks the width again.
We're going to do, it's measuring to almost 1/8, so we're going to do it to 51 1/8. We always do it a couple of times to make sure. We're going to do 51 1/8. So basically we figured out now that this painting is 51 1/8 by 63 5/8. I believe that's what it was. Let me just make sure. Yep, 63 5/8. And we have it measured. And this is the easiest way to do it. We kind of want to stretch it ourselves to make sure we get the proper dimensions. So all we're doing is going to manipulate the stretcher. Make sure it's in that corner there. We're going to come over here. Make sure it's right in that corner there. And we're going to basically move about the painting to make sure all four corners are set in the indentation. Once it's set in the indentation, all we have to do is start stretching now. It's really not difficult. What we want to do is just throw some staples in. And remember, we're not here to stretch it tight. We're here to stretch it and get it on the bars, and we'll let the keys do the tightening for us.
He uses canvas pliers along an edge.
So we're pulling a little bit on it. We're not really pulling it tight because all we're trying to do is just make sure this area of the painting is tight on the bar. Go to the other side, opposite for our second staple. Again, we're coming over here. We're just pulling a little bit to make sure it stays in the indentation. putting a staple in, so be it. Third staple again on the opposite side, making sure the stretcher is in the indentation, pulling on it just a little bit. We're not trying to make it tight, because the only thing that'll do is possibly crack the painting.
He moves around to the fourth side.
Again, what I do is I kind of lift it up to make sure it's in the indentation. And you can see the indentation right there. The stretcher's falling right in it. I'm just going to pull this over. I'm just going to pull a very little bit, just to make it a little tension. And then we're done there. The whole point of this pulling is just so there aren't waves when I stretch. And now I'm going to go in and just stretch this side. Very simple. It's not hard.
He still uses the pliers.
If you notice, I'm not really pulling hard in it. The whole point is just to make sure the stretcher stays in the indentation, and because we already have it lined up, it should be pretty good.
He finishes a row of staples along one side.
Now I'm just going to flip the painting over, and we're going to do the opposite side.
He tilts the canvas and frame toward him. He picks it up and holds it perpendicular to the floor. A sheet of glycine falls off the table. He rotates the canvas 180 degrees and places it back on the table.
Lots of glycine. No scratches.
He uses the pliers and staple gun to staple the canvas to a second side. He picks up the canvas and rotates it 90 degrees to a third side. He adds staples to the third side.
Get to the corner, popping our plug out. That helps keep it square. And we're just going to follow how the person or artist previously folded them.
He folds the canvas at the corner and adds 3 staples.
Fold.
He finishes the fourth side and the fourth corner.
All right.
He picks up the canvas and flips it over to reveal the painting on the other side.
Looks pretty amazing. We're going to check now the tightness. See if we have to put any keys in. We generally don't have to. It's coming off the bars, but we'll just put like 1 or 2 keys in just to make it look amazing.
He uses a rubber mallet.
This will give it just a little bit of tension.
He adds a second crossbar key. He then flips the painting back over face up.
And we're done. Voila.